Today, on April 11, 1898, President McKinley has been granted permission to use force against Spain, leading into the Spanish-American War. Because of yellow journalism, or strongly opinionated twisted stories, the American public became infuriated, insisting on war over Cuba after the common refrain, "Remember the Maine, to hell with Spain," was drilled into their heads. Although the ship was blown up by American forces, journalists' words, such as William Randolph Hearst's, had such a powerful effect the American people were led to believe otherwise. The Kennedy assassination was a revolutionary time for TV news coverage and a milestone for media in general. On November 22, 1963 today, TV specials became longer to document the state of President Kennedy, CBS being the first to go live with the news of the shooting. This shocking event was the first to be documented in this manner, and it shifted the importance of live television from then onwards. During the 1960s, new technologies arose such as the video camera, audio recorder, and Technicolor television. These also brought the consequences of raw video, censorship. The brutality of war in Vietnam via video clips and brief news coverage put a rise in those who saw it. At the beginning of the war, the press had little interest in Vietnam. Only a few reports were made, and most of them just focused on the rise of communism in the country. However, at the end of 1960, the death of many civilians in a coup against President Diem started to change the views on Vietnam. On August 9, 1974, the Washington Post ran what was then the largest front-page headline in its history: "Nixon resigns." That date marked both the end of Richard Nixon's presidency and the beginning of 3 decades of debate about what role media and journalism played in uncovering the Watergate scandal that booted Nixon from office, and how Watergate in turn influenced media itself. Multiple burglars were arrested inside the office of Democratic National Committee, also known as the DNC, at the Watergate building in Washington, D.C. The prowlers were connected to President Richard Nixon's re-election campaign, and they had caught while attempting to wiretap phones and steal secret documents. Media was forever impacted in its ability to expose people of power and preserving relations with those in power for their own purposes.
Coverage of the Persian Gulf War has been graphic and allowed vivid images of mass destruction to be shown to the American people and those around the world. For the first time, people are able to watch the war unfold in real time. CNN and other networks have deployed on-the-ground news journalists covering the war. Persian Gulf War has brought a new perspective to news coverage of war and has allowed the media to portray war as a dramatic, patriotic spectacle. With the trial of O.J. Simpson well underway, the American people continue to stay directly informed by watching the nationally televised trial. Allowing cameras into the courtroom stirred more public interest into the celebrity murder trial. This inside look gives the American people a new perspective, but has also allowed news outlets to infiltrate and spin stories to grab readers' attention. A gut-wrenching tragedy has just occurred today on September 11th. It appears that 2 planes have struck into the Twin Towers in New York City. This event is unlike any other our nation has faced and has gained an incredible amount of media attention. Televised news coverage has overtaken the media stream and daily programmings to give the American people an inside and up-to-date account of what is happening.
32 people have been killed and 17 are wounded. The Virginia Tech shooting, also known as the Virginia Tech Massacre, occurred yesterday, April 16, 2007, on the campus of Virginia Tech University in Blacksburg, Virginia. The attack is the deadliest shooting incident by a single gunman in U.S. history and one of the deadliest by a single gunman worldwide. Because of the extent of media coverage about this event, it has become one of the first happenings to spark an intense debate about gun violence, gun laws, treatment of mental health issues, the responsibility of colleges, privacy laws, journalism ethics, and other issues. Television news organizations that aired portions of the Killer's Multimedia Manifesto were criticized by victims' families, Virginia law enforcement officials, and the American Psychiatric Association. Twitter has never existed in any campaign before this 2008 presidential election, where it has successfully integrated into President Obama's campaign. Although voting has traditionally been regarded as a private decision, millions took to social media to openly express their political approval or contempt. 3/4 of internet users have been online during this election to take part in or get news and information about the campaigns. This marks the first time more than half of the voting age population used the internet to connect to the political process during an election cycle. As the overall size of the online political news audience has grown, the internet has taken a front and center role within the media environment. 26% of adults get most of their election news from the internet. Although television remains the dominant source of political news in this country, starting with this presidential election in 2008, the introduction of social media forever changed the political race. The movement #Black Lives Matter burst onto the national scene recently. This campaign attracted national attention after a Florida jury acquitted George Zimmerman of second-degree murder in the shooting death of the black teenager Trayvon Martin. Many critics said this movement would fail to gain traction, implode from lackluster leadership, and eventually disappear from the national headlines. However, the Black Lives Matter movement had something movements of earlier generations did not have: the growth of free speech on social media. Outraged Americans are able to take to social media to express their disgust in police brutality and unite online, maintaining a campaign altering the landscape of American politics and society as a whole. Hashtag Black Lives Matter, although not the first social media campaign to go viral, is arguably one of the most visible and impactful on modern-day social justices.
The cyber attack on Sony Pictures Entertainment by a group calling themselves the Guardians of Peace resulted in a temporarily canceled movie release, leaked private information, and apologies from Hollywood executives found making mortifying email transactions, and ultimately, news from US officials that North Korea was behind the attack. Many speculate that North Korea is behind the attack because Sony's upcoming film, The Interview, starring Seth Rogen and James Franco, is about an assassination attempt on Kim Jong-un. This direct and even foolish jab at the North Korean leader via media has caused permanent bruise upon the already tainted and injured hostile relationship between the US and North Korea.
In response to the terrorist attacks that have occurred today, November 13, 2015, international support and frenzy has occurred, alongside a feeling of interconnectedness spawned from the power of social media. The act, committed by ISIS, has left people across the world in shock and has started a chain reaction of tribute to the lives lost in France across the globe. Additionally, as media spread the word and linked the bonds between countries, it is also being used as a device for ISIS itself, spreading its fearful message by the use of the ever more powerful internet. In this way, it can be seen how the power of media can affect both international relations and